Hello everyone. Let us now discuss the most important questions from my compiler. Now, if you notice, the first chapter of the compiler consists of questions from preliminary chapter as well as types of companies. But since we have discussed only types of companies, we will solve the relevant questions relating to this chapter. When I discuss preliminary chapter, I will come back to this and then we will discuss the most important questions from preliminary. Okay. For today's session, I have identified three questions. Question 4, 7, and 8. Okay, I feel these are most important questions from this chapter. Why don't you solve these questions on your own and then you come back, you watch this video and then we will discuss it. Yes, will you do that? So it's a good writing practice. Instead of me telling you everything, why don't you try solving these questions? Now, answer writing format I already discussed. You will divide the answer into four parts: provisions, facts, analysis, and conclusion. In provisions, you will write down the section number, the theory, name of case law, if any. In facts, you will explain the question in your own words very briefly. In analysis, you will provide solution, and conclusion will be just ending the answer. Okay. Here, I have combined the analysis and conclusion because I feel that there is nothing much which we can write in conclusion. You need to give this heading also. Okay. You need to write provisions. You need to write that word provision. Now read these three questions, solve it on your own. If you want, you can write full length answers in your notebook. If you're lazy, then pointers are also sufficient. But try attempting these questions on your own. Come on, try. Pause the video right now. Did that. Okay. The paid up share capital of Saras Private Limited, okay, the paid up capital of Saras Private Limited consists of 8 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each and 2 lakh cumulative preference shares of rupees 10 each. Jeevan and Sudhir, they are holding 3 lakh and 50,000. Equity shares, okay, they are holding 3 lakh and 50,000 equity shares. In Saras, they are subsidiaries of Piyush. Piyush is holding the subsidiary. Now, what is the question? Whenever I read the question, I convert that into this manner. So, what will happen? By the time I finish reading the question, I'm mentally ready with the answer. So, this is how you will read the question. See, as I was reading the question, I made notes for myself. Yes. So, over here, with reference to the above facts, you have to examine whether Saras is a subsidiary of Piyush. Okay. So it means they are asking us to highlight H S S1. Yes. Okay. So is Saras a subsidiary of J and S? See, they both together own 3.5 lakh out of 8 lakh equity. It is less than 50%. So Saras is not a subsidiary of Jeevan and Sudhir. So there is no relationship established. So because there is no relationship, Saras is not a subsidiary of Piyush. What if Piyush has 8 out of 10, 8 out of 9 directors on the board of Saras? Oh, I can control the composition. Control means I can either appoint or remove all or majority. Majority means more than 50%. So here I control more than 50%. Yes. So Piyush controls more than 50% of the directors, composition of the directors of Saras. So Piyush is the holding company of Saras. So my answer will be different. I am ready with the answer. Now let us discuss the framing. What all will you write? The question relates to holding subsidiary. Yes. So you will start by defining holding and subsidiary company. So section 2 clause 87, it defines a subsidiary. Ma'am, do we need to write section 2 clause 46 which defines a holding company, that's your wish. Section 2, clause 87 says that a subsidiary company means a company in which that other company controls the composition of the board, or it exercises the controls more than one half of the total share cap of the total voting power, either on its own or together with one or more of its subsidiary. Okay. They will not have layers beyond the number. They have explained H, S, and S1. Okay. Composition, controlling the composition means you can either appoint or remove all or majority directors. All right. Okay, so this is purely the definition. Ma'am, we have not discussed this. It is not important. Even if you don't write this, you will still get marks. So this is important. You need to mention this. So this is purely the definition. If we have written everything in our textbook, everything is mentioned word to word. Now, in this case, I will mention the facts in my own words. You need not give a lot of information over here. Marks are not allotted to facts. It is just paper presentation. Okay, since the holding is less than half of the total voting power, okay, voting power being 8 lakh equity, because cumulative preference shares do not have voting power. What if it was convertible preference shares? Then yes, you could have considered that, but here it is cumulative. So we will consider only the equity shares. Okay, so Saras is not a subsidiary of Piyush. Our answer was correct. But what if it controls more than 8 out of 9 directors? You're controlling the composition of the board of directors. Then yes, in this case, it will be treated as the holding of Saras. So it is actually a very simple question, but because there are so many numbers and facts given, you may feel confused. Okay. Next, we have question 7. All right. So, State Cricket Club was formed as a limited liability company. I hope you are ready with the answer. It was Section 8 company, so I need to mentally recall the provisions of Section 8. The object was promoting cricket by arranging introductory cricket courses. Okay, so it is promotion of sports. The club has been earning surplus. Of late, the affairs are conducted fraudulently, and dividend was also paid to the members. So it means that you are violating the provisions of Section 8. So what will happen in this case? Your license can be revoked. And if the central government feels that it is in public interest, they may also pass an order for winding up of the company, or they may want that company to be amalgamated with another Section 8 company having similar objects. So is there any provision to revoke the license? Yes, the central government, they have delegated the authority to the ROC, they can revoke the license. And can the company be wound up? Yes, if they feel that it is in public interest that the company should be wound up, then yes. Otherwise, they may also amalgamate it with another company having similar objects. Can it be merged with another company having the business of networking? No. A Section 8 company can only be amalgamated with another Section 8 company having similar objects. We had highlighted this point in my lecture. What will you write? You need not write everything about a Section 8 company. You only need to mention the relevant provisions, that what if it violates the provisions. So that is more important. You can, however, write that a Section 8 company has 3 characteristics. It is formed for a specific object. It will utilize the profits only for fulfilling that object, and it prohibits the distribution of dividends. So you can write that, and then you can jump to violation. So you will write everything about a Section 8 company. So if there is a contravention, the license can be revoked. And if we feel that you are violating the objects, or it is prejudicial to public interest, the ROC will put the words limited or private limited at the end of the name. But before revocation, yes, we will give you an opportunity of being heard. However, if we feel that you are conducting the business fraudulently, then your license can be revoked. And if we feel that it is in public interest, it may either be wound up or amalgamated with another company having similar objects. You cannot merge it with a company that does not have similar objects. So we had covered this yesterday. If you remember, this was the note that I had given you. So in case you fail to comply with the provisions, then the central government, who has delegated this authority to the regional director, they may revoke the license, and ROC will put the word limited or private limited at the end of the name. If at the time of revocation, I feel that it is essential in public interest to direct the company to be either wound up or amalgamated with another company having similar objects. Okay, so this was question 7. Let us now also discuss the provisions of question 8. It seems to be a very lengthy question, but actually it is a very simple question. The entire question is based on the concept of limited company, section 2 clause 52. Now, you must have read the question. They have asked whether it can be considered as listed company. Now, what is the definition of a listed company? Section 2 clause 52 defines a listed company. A listed company means a company which has its securities listed, any of its securities listed on a recognized stock exchange, provided that there are certain companies which are, even though they have listed their securities, they will not be considered as listed companies. And in that we have a public company which has not listed the equity, but it has listed non-convertible debt securities issued on private placement basis in accordance with the terms of SEBI, non-convertible redeemable preference shares issued on private placement basis in terms of SEBI. If you may have issued both, if you are a private company which has not listed which has obviously not listed equity, but they have listed their non-convertible debt securities issued on private placement basis in terms of SEBI. You are a public company which has not listed the equity shares on a recognized stock exchange in India, but their equity shares are listed on a stock exchange in foreign jurisdiction. So this is basically the definition. Okay, they have written the definition. So that is something which you will write in theory. Now let us analyze. This is a public company, this is a private company. Okay, a public company which has listed a non-convertible redeemable preference shares issued on private placement basis in terms of SEBI, then it is not considered as a listed company. Listed non-convertible debt securities issued on private placement basis, not a listed company. You are a private company, you have listed your non-convertible debt securities issued on private placement basis, you are not a listed company. So neither of them are listed. Now, let us also analyze. K has the power to appoint 2/3 of the directors of I. 2/3 means it is more than half, it is majority. So yes, I is the subsidiary of K. I holds 60% of the voting power of S1, that is Sajakta. So yes, it is a subsidiary of I. Indirectly, it is also the subsidiary of K. The company holds, okay, so S1, this is Sajakta, company holds 52% in Pratibodh as an investment on behalf of the company in capacity of trustee, fiduciary. This is not to be considered while determining holding subsidiary relation. So yes, this is not considered. You are not a subsidiary. P is not a subsidiary. I'm mentally ready with the answer. Let's see. Explain the relationship. Let's see if our relationship analysis is correct. So as between K and I is the subsidiary and K is the holding. So I is the subsidiary of K. And in this case, you own 60%. So yes, it owns more than 1/2. So you are a subsidiary. Relationship between K and S, yes, indirectly, it is the subsidiary. Okay. But what if you are holding 52% only in the capacity of, only in fiduciary capacity? Then that is not considered while calculating holding subsidiary relation. So there is no, so P is not a subsidiary of S. Okay, that is Sajakta. Pratibodh is not a subsidiary of Sajakta. Okay, all right. So it was a very simple question, and I hope you were able to answer. Ma'am, do we need to write everything in such detail? I don't think you will be able to write. You can write in your own words, but include all the important points. Okay. So these were the 3 questions that I had identified from my compiler. In my next video, I will also discuss few MCQs, okay, from types of companies. So in every session, we will first discuss the theory, then few important case study based questions and few MCQs which I feel are tricky and you need to know. It's not every time that we are going to discuss MCQs, but yeah, there are certain MCQs which I, maybe in the initial part only, which I feel you should know, maybe related to OPC, etc. So I will see you next time, and we will also start with a new chapter.